Hey there, do you need some help getting ready for the FTCE? This video is for the Social Sciences subtest of the FTCE Elementary Education Test. The Elementary Education Test code is 060. My name is Danny. I'm a certified K-8 teacher. I'm also a test prep expert for Study.com. In this video, we'll go over testing strategies for 4 sample questions from this exam to help get you feeling confident and ready for test day. Ready? Let's go. Which of the following best describes East Central Florida? Our first option says a retirement and fishing region. Does this capture all there is to say about East Central Florida? Not quite. Let's see if there's a better option. The next option says a tourist, sporting, and scientific region. East Central Florida is home to spring break destinations and hosts the Daytona 500. This region is also known as the Space Coast due to the presence of Cape Canaveral and the Kennedy Space Center. So far, it offers the best description of East Central Florida. What about option 3? An area with robust Caribbean culture. That doesn't describe as much about East Central Florida as our previous option did. What about a tourist, cultural, and agricultural region? It doesn't cover the things that we mentioned in the second option. Again, our second option describes it as a tourist location based on it being a spring break destination, a sporting location based on the Daytona 500, and the scientific region based on the Space Coast. It is the best description of East Central Florida. Folds on a geographic map are represented with lines that are... Let's pull out the keywords from the question. It's asking us to choose the option that tells which lines represent folds on a geographic map. Our first option is lines that are thicker than lines that represent faults. Since folds are topographic features, they should be represented with lines that are actually thinner. And faults are a larger feature, even though they're underground, so their lines would be thicker. Are folds represented with lines that are dotted from start to end? That is not the type of line that would represent a topographic feature on a geographic map. Are folds represented with lines that are reddish in color? Not necessarily. We can eliminate that option. Are folds represented with lines that are thinner than lines that represent faults? This option is the opposite of the first option, and while folds are topographic features, their lines would be thinner than those that represent faults. Maps have various symbols and features that show the geological features of a region. Folds, like basins and domes, are made up of different aged rock and sediment and are represented by lines thinner than the lines that represent fault lines. That is the correct choice. What does GPS stand for? So here we need to know what the acronym GPS stands for. The first option is Global Pacific System. GPS is not specific to the Pacific region, so that option can be eliminated. The second option is Global Positioning System. GPS is a type of satellite positioning system. The letters in the acronym GPS stand for Global Positioning System. We're going to check that one, but also look at our last 2 options just to be sure. Global Point System is not what the acronym GPS stands for. Global Positioning Science also is not what GPS stands for. GPS stands for Global Positioning System. Prior to the Revolutionary War, regions throughout colonial America were identified by... Okay, this question is asking us about prior to the Revolutionary War, how the regions in colonial America were identified. Keeping in mind, prior to the Revolutionary War, were they identified by the specific locations of each region? Not quite yet. This was prior to the Revolutionary War. What about the prominent religion of the area? Is that how regions were identified? No. Not prior to the Revolutionary War. Religion didn't really factor into the regions and how they were identified. What about the predominant culture of each region? Again, prior to the Revolutionary War, this was not a factor that was used to identify the regions of colonial America. the environmental or land features. Prior to the Revolutionary War, regions were identified by environmental or land features, like coastal plains or backcountry areas. After the Revolutionary War, regions were defined more by their specific geographical locations. So the correct answer to how the regions throughout colonial America were identified prior to the Revolutionary War is by their environmental or land features. I hope this video was helpful and that you're feeling more comfortable with how to approach the test. Check out more videos in this channel to get additional help for the test, and like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our new videos. You can also get lots of help preparing for this and many other exams on the study.com website. As a member, you can access short, targeted video lessons, extra study materials, personalized study plans, and hundreds of practice questions like the ones we just went over. We'd love to hear about your experience and what else we can do to help you get ready for your test. So leave a comment below with your questions, suggestions, and even let us know how you did. Study strong and all the best on your test.